Evermore Fogel. I'm very proud to be endorsed by Equity and Progress in Charlottesville. This is a wonderful group of progressive people from our community who not only want to see change in the criminal justice system, they want to see equity throughout our entire city. And they understand that mass incarceration is not smart. They understand that mass incarceration is not effective to give us safety. And they understand that mass incarceration has led to the destruction of families and communities. They also understand that there's serious racial inequity in the criminal justice system. Not just in the nation, not just in Virginia, but in Charlottesville itself. For 20 years, Charlottesville has fed mass incarceration. For 20 years, Charlottesville has fed racial inequity in our system. People like to think, well, there's some nice people working in the prosecutor's office, and there are. But that doesn't change the facts. And the facts are, we have been as aggressive as any community in putting people in prison who don't need to be there. Let's remember that half of the people in prison today and half of the people being sent from Charlottesville to prison are nonviolent offenders. We spend $30,000 a year to lock them up in a prison where they get no rehabilitation, or we spend $1,500 a year on probation. Or if we want intensively supervised probation, we could spend $3,000 a year and save $27,000 over incarceration. And when you multiply that by the numbers of people who are going into the prison system, it's a significant amount of money. 2 days ago, a civil rights lawyer named Larry Krasner was selected by the Democratic voters of Philadelphia to be their new district attorney. This is a very exciting development. He won that race by a significant plurality among the voters, the Democratic voters of Philadelphia, on a platform that is totally aligned with the one that I have been arguing for. End mass incarceration, end racial inequities, stop prosecuting low-level drug offenses, start looking at alternatives to the criminal justice system for people with substance abuse problems, with people with mental health problems, and let's reorganize our criminal justice system so that it's fair, so that it's humane, so that it's effective in protecting us in the ways in which we need to be protected. And that includes the very people who are put into the system need to have the opportunity to restart their lives. And when I look at EPIC, I see that together we're going to look at the issues of crime and violence in our community. Because crime and violence is not going to be solved by police. It's not going to be solved by prosecutors. It's going to be solved by looking at and correcting the economic and social conditions that are creating crime and violence. And the folks who are here know that, and they are going to be pressing those issues along with me as I stand on the issue of criminal justice. We need to listen to people who are about making changes based on real, live evidence. And we have that evidence, and it's irrefutable about what's gone on here. Now the question then is, who can change it? Is it somebody who's been in the prosecutor's office for 15 years while it has fed the system of criminal justice, of mass incarceration and racial inequity? Or someone like myself who has spent his life fighting against mass incarceration and fighting against racial inequity? I think the folks here, as they said in their statement, understand that that history means something for anybody you can rely on. There are many politicians in this town who have said, and I've listened to them as candidates, I don't make promises because I'm afraid I won't be able to fulfill them. Well, how are we ever going to be able to judge public officials if they don't tell us what it is they promised to do, and we can then judge them by that? My adversary has promised nothing. You can look at my platform on my website, and you can see that from the beginning, I have laid forth a very specific and particularized program, and I expect to be judged on that program, and I expect to fulfill that program. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm very proud of the endorsement I received from these folks, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the race. Woo!